Hey, y'all. We are live. It is your girl, Malika, your money management mentor, here with Mr. Max on. It has been a minute since I've been live on this page. How y'all doing out there? Drop me a hey emoji in the chat. Let me know you're out there. So I have some new friends, and so I wanted to come on here and introduce myself to some and reintroduce myself to others. I am a money management mentor, so that means I am helping high achieving women to reduce their debt and save money by utilizing their own personalized money plan. And that money plan says, we're going to tell our money what to do based off of the financial goals we set. Okay. And I help high achieving women to do just that. Right. And my journey started well over 10 years ago. Right. I walked away from an abusive relationship, and that relationship left me broken and broke. When I say broke, I mean my background is in engineering. And so I was making what I thought was good money, but I was still living paycheck to paycheck. Um, and I'm talking sometimes I wasn't even living paycheck to paycheck. Sometimes the ends was just waving at each other, right? Because at the time the funds just were not there. I have been in that relationship where it was physically and financially abusive to the point where I walked out of that relationship and I had to pay off my own engagement ring. Right. And so I'm talking student loans, car, engagement ring, credit cards, all in my name, all in debt. Right. So I had a negative net worth. And after that relationship ended, at the end of that year, my job sent me my last check of the year. And after everything was all said and done, I'm sitting here looking at my accounts like I made all of this money and I don't know where it's at. I don't know where it's going. I made the most money I've ever made in my life and I have nothing to show for it. And that day I determined, I don't know whether I had just been up late at night listening to too many of those free creditreport.com commercials or what. But I just decided I no longer wanted to live like that. I said that day I will never be broke another day in my life. And so later that week, I went and got the book The Millionaire Next Door. So I got the Candy Burris. I don't know if y'all know who that is. Candy Burris of Escape, also on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. If you know her, you know she's about her money, right? And so she mentioned that book in a I don't know what she was doing, a show or a panel or something, but she mentioned that book. And so she mentioned it and I went to go pick it up. And that was the start of my journey. And so I started reading that book. I started taking courses. I started, reading more books. I started getting coaches and I started getting advisors, right? And they helped me along the way. And it started with that relationship and that realization that I didn't want to live like that. But that engagement ring, that was really it for me, right? Because those debt collectors were just calling and calling and calling, and it made me mad. Not only was it making me mad because they were calling me, but they were making me mad because I had to pay for my own engagement ring, right? And so one day I just decided, you know what can I pay you today and just get this over with? And so they gave me a number, I gave it to them. And I remember the rest of that week not having any money, right? I didn't have money to put gas in my car. I barely had money to eat. Like I'm talking, I was in the kitchen fixing noodles with seasoning because that's all I had, right? And I was too embarrassed to tell my parents what was happening, to tell them what was going on. Because I was always seen as the strong person, the person who figured it out. And so I didn't want them to know that I, was struggling. And so I went through this alone. But what that experience taught me was I needed a plan, or else I was going to continue to sit there and be hungry and wondering whether or not I was going to make it to work all week long. And so with that, I learned how to allocate and track my expenses, right? And so there was no more of just handing a debt collector money because that's what they asked for, right? I had a plan for it. And with that plan, not only was I able to pay off that engagement ring and that car and those student loans and the credit cards, but I eventually was able to save my sunny day fund. And so, if anybody knows me, you know what's typically called an emergency fund. I call it a sunny day fund because things happen. And some days the days are still sunny. It don't always just happen on a rainy day. And so I I was able to save my 6 months in my sunny day fund. And then after that, I was able to use those funds to start investing. And those investments allowed me a huge opportunity once my job laid me off in what 2021. It allowed me to be able to stay home with my son and raise him and start a business without the support of his father. His father at the time decided he didn't want a relationship with he or I at the time. And so I was able to continue to make things happen for us without his support. And for me, that was huge because I've always known that I wanted to be home with my children when I had them, right? And that's tough to do without finances, right? And I know um a lot of moms, when they do decide to stay home with their children, they depend on other people, helping to take care of some of those bills so that they can stay home with their children. Well, I didn't have that at the time. I wasn't really close to my father, and like I said, my oldest son's father was not in his life at the time. Or supportive at the time. I'll say that he was in his life, but not in the greatest of ways. And so I had to do, what I had to do. And fortunately, because I started my journey over 10 years ago, I was able to stay home with my son, and be there for him and watch him, crawl for the first time, watch him walk for the first time. Wow, building this business because not only was I affected by that abusive relationship, but when they laid us off, I looked at how many moms who wanted to do something different but they couldn't because their finances was not there. And so I said it made me sad, and I knew I had the information to be able to do something about it. And so I was able to start my money management mentorship business where I help other moms to create a money plan so that they can go follow their dreams. Um, so if they want to be home with their babies, just like mine at 224, and let him kiss on them. They can do that without having to stress about finances, right? And they can also take that time to build their business so they have the funds to, invest in invest in, different opportunities, those investments that are going to allow them to keep taking care of their babies while they're here, and even passing down generational wealth so they take care of their babies when they pass away, right? And so my journey has not been an easy one, but it has been an adventurous one, right? And I don't take it back for nothing, right? Um, I absolutely now I absolutely appreciate the journey and would love absolutely the opportunity to share, what I learned on my journey with other moms, so that they too can follow their dreams. So if you're a mom who's out there, or you are just a woman out there who you're making good money, you are the high achiever, you're a go-getter, you are ambitious, you make it happen, you figure it out, right? And you bringing in those coins, but you just haven't figured out quite how to manage it yet so that they are going towards the things you truly desire, like providing for your family, right? Like buying a house for your family, like being able to invest so that you can bring in some additional income, right? I help with that. So reach out to me if you're looking to reduce that debt and start saving and investing. I absolutely look forward to the opportunity to work with y'all. And y'all, I'm getting ready to go play with my little Maxie Poo because he wants to play with mommy. So y'all reach out to me. I will leave my link in the chat for y'all to schedule a session. The first one is definitely on me, and we will go from there. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Wednesday. Talk to y'all later.